Hi, all the signs of the Zodiac. I'm Pam, and welcome to your mid-month Psychic Tarot update for January 2019. This month, I'm using two tarot decks to pull two cards for you for each of the 12 signs of the Zodiac to see what's going on in the mid-month of January 2019 and beyond. The first card I've pulled for your sign will be from the Aquarian tarot deck, and the second card will be from the Osho Zen tarot deck. These are the two tarot decks I used for the January 2019 Eclipse Effects 2-deck psychic tarot readings that I put up and are available on Vimeo. And in those readings, I used 3 Aquarian tarot cards and 6 from the Osho Zen deck, and they were very detailed and I thought pretty powerful, so I wanted to use them here for you in the mid-month on YouTube. So please be sure to watch your rising sign and your moon sign, because some months they're going to make sense to you more than your sun sign will. So please be sure to look into that. So all that being said, now on to your mid-month Psychic Tarot update. And I'm starting with Aries. Aries, the first of the two cards you have for this mid-month is the Chariot. And the Chariot is a card that symbolizes change. It could be unexpected change or change that you've wished for. It can also mean long-distance travel. Sometimes it can be feeling pulled, like you're being pulled in two different directions. Sometimes this card can come up even indicating success sometimes. You're like working something out, figuring something out. Some of you may have like your stomach may be churning, like you may be a little anxiety ridden or nervous. Perhaps you're starting a new job, or you're embarking on a new business venture. Or if you have your own business already, you could be changing it or adding, more products or services, or hiring new people, or expanding it in some way. There's something that you're doing that could be making you feel like anxious. And you're going to feel like you want to put your pedal to the metal, because I hear you, Aries, thinking, I know how to make this happen faster. So whatever it is you're doing, you're going to feel driven, like you don't want to waste any time here. Maybe it has to do with the new year, Aries. Maybe because it's at the beginning of the new year, you're like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I want to make these changes. I want to make the most of 2019. For some of you, it could just be that the timing is right for these things to occur for you. There is some element of you needing to show off or show people what you can do, or to make good presentations. It could be speeches, PowerPoint presentations, work that you're doing. Maybe there's higher ups or someone you need to make a good impression on. Even if it has nothing to do with business or work, maybe you're meeting somebody's parents for the first time and you want to make a good impression on the parents. Or you're meeting some influential people that could further your career or advance you in some way. And so, you want to put your best foot forward and present the best side of yourself. That kind of energy is also swirling around this card of the Chariot. You may start to gain like a lot of respectability, and may even because of that, you may even have a whole new outlook, or the whole new outlook precedes you having a lot more like, people respecting you, what you're doing, what you're saying, like that, your respectability and people admiring you or liking what you're doing or have to say, that all kicks up for many of you, Aries. Now, to expand on that, you have from the Osho Zen tarot deck, you have compromise. So somehow you must be making some kind of compromise in regard to what they're talking about from the Chariot. You are going to feel like there's a lot of duties and responsibilities that are kicking up with all of what was already going on, what I said in the Chariot. You may find yourself entertaining a lot of people, or hobnobbing with people, or networking with people, or like you know, again, I get like having to put your best game face on, you know, like maybe you have to audition for something, or someone's testing you or asking you to prove something. So again, I feel like you're going to have to put on a good show, or you're going to have to be really present, or you're going to have to put your best foot forward, all of the above. You're going to be learning new skills and new crafts, new skills, new things. This could be connected to your work or what you're doing here, what they're talking about, or this could even be personal or a completely different topic. But it comes up as you Aries learning a lot of new things. And I feel if you're starting a new job, or if you're advancing in a new position, or if you're doing some new things to your own business, if this is about work and business, then you're still getting some kind of like more knowledge, more training, more insight, information, or education about it. And you may be spending time figuring out, like, I want to make some kind of move. And the move you make, some of you may want to make a lateral move, which may sound a little odd, but maybe you don't really want to move up, but you would like to just move into a different, like, you know, step to the side. Still keep doing some of what you're doing, but I don't know. For some of you, it could be that kind of energy about this as well. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. If somebody gives you some kind of gift, even if you're like not that thrilled about it or you're puzzled by it, just make sure you say thank you. I'm not saying Aries are rude, don't get me wrong, but for some reason the guides are bringing it up. So you may get something that you think, what's this? Or why did I get that? Or why did they give me that? Or how is this important or pertinent? Regardless, just make sure you say thank you, because I feel there's other things to come beyond it that you're not going to be able to get at the time you get whatever this is. So hope those messages made sense to you. Now onto the sign of Taurus. And the first of the two cards you have, your Aquarian tarot card, is the Nine of Cups. And this is wish fulfillment. All good things coming to you in an emotional sense, or some answered wish, like you getting some wishes coming true. You also feeling contented, like feeling full and in contentment and happy. Some of you are going to feel this way because you have a new relationship. Now, this new relationship could be with a love and a lover or a partner like that, but it could be a new relationship with maybe there's a new person that came into your family, that one of your kids is getting married, so there's a new person there, or your parents are divorced and maybe they're getting remarried and there's a new person. And that therefore there's a new relationship, or somebody's giving birth to a baby, there's a new relationship. But for some of you, it is a love relationship. But Taurus, because it's a general reading, I can't pinpoint exactly who they are to you. So hopefully you'll know who I'm talking about by the time you get into the midpoint of February. You'll be able to look back and go, ah, I know who that was. There's a couple things that are going to get dropped. Some kind of stigma is getting dropped. There's also some kind of court case or issue that's getting dropped. And there's also a boss or higher up, or somebody in a higher position than you that's getting dropped. So you need to go back and listen to those three things again, because for each of you, it may be all three for all of you out there, but it could be one of those things that gets dropped applies to you, because that comes up. And somehow those things happening are going to give you some kind of feeling happy, like some wish got granted. Maybe there was somebody at your work, you were like, I don't like that person, or I don't like that boss, and they get fired, or they quit or leave for some reason. There could have been a lawsuit or some case, and the case is going to get dropped, and that makes you feel happy because it was, dicey whether it was going to go well for you. Like that kind of energy also comes up here with this Nine of Cups. Something you're doing is going to work out really well, and I see a lot of you Taurus is receiving compliments, and this could be on some meal you cooked, or some great job that you did in some way, or you may you've done something that people are going to be complimenting you about. It could be something that happened at work. It could be something you did great in your home life, or maybe you redecorated a room or redecorated your house, or you built something, or you composed a piece of music, or you wrote a book. Whatever it is, Taurus, you have people that are going to be giving you positive feedback. Now, here you have the possibilities card to expand on the Nine of Cups. So that actually is pretty interesting to go together, I think. You are like, the time is right for you. There's some things that you're doing that are coming into full maturity. And you're getting ready to start to fly and soar. And this could be like, maybe you created something and it was not full ripeness or to maturity yet, and now it's going to be. And that means you're going to be able to publish it or get it out there or do something with it or express it or show it to the world or whatever. And this is going to be a positive time for you because things are going to fly because of this. You may find that you're going to start pampering yourself a little bit more, Taurus. You may start taking some baths, luxurious baths, bubble baths, or sea salt baths, or, just getting massages, or taking more naps, like resting. Maybe you just push through strenuous time with work or family situations, and now you're having like a little bit of time where you can rest or go away on a vacation. Those energies all are swirling around you too. And if you don't see them occurring in the middle of January, Taurus, this could happen for you as you move forward out into February or March even. And something that you're going to be doing, Taurus, that you're going to tell your family members or you're going to tell the public or whomever, it's going to generate and create a lot of buzz. People are going to be talking about it. And I don't feel in a negative way. This doesn't feel like mean gossiping. Although, there's always the people that, even if you're happy and doing something great or, generous or kind, there's people that could still find fault with it. But for the most part, it's like the gods are smiling on you, Taurus, in the middle of January. Some of you are getting looped into something or hooked into something that could be a group or a club or an organization or some kind of network, or I don't know, it's kind of like linked into something that then helps bring in more money to you or helps you have a more interesting business or social life because other people are involved, and this is amping things up for you. And I actually feel for many of you it increases money. So I hope those messages were of help to you. Now on to the sign of Gemini. And the first card you have, Gemini, is the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups is a past life reincarnation relationship that you've reincarnated again, this time to solve karma. You could be together to the end of your days and live happily ever after together. Or you could split apart and you still would have learned or solved the karma either way. Some of you are going to be thinking outside the box and meeting someone new in January or February. At the very least, you're going to meet somebody that feels very intriguing or interesting to you. So you could still have the Six of Cups energy here, even if it's not a love partner. This could be someone interesting to do with your work, or an interesting new friend, or an interesting connection. But for some of you, it will be a love partner. And if you go on any dating sites, or you just go out to singles places, or you're trying to meet somebody, I do feel that some of you Geminis are going to meet somebody that you're like, wow, we really have a lot in common. We have a lot of similarities, or your background will be similar, or your viewpoints are going to be similar. Now, for those of you that are in a tangled up, unhappy relationship, someone in the relationship is going to say they want to get out of it. But that's only if you would know it. In other words, I wouldn't be giving you like some big news flash, because you would be in a partnership that would be really, really, really rocky and unstable. So if you're in that kind of a relationship, then someone's going to leave because of it. Now, You know, we do have these two eclipses in January. We already had the one on the 5th and 6th. And then we're having this other one on the 20th or the 21st, depending upon where you live in the world. And I feel like this is really affecting it for you. This eclipse with this Six of Cups card, these two eclipses. But there are some of you, conversely, it goes so opposite directions. If you meet someone new, you're going to be drawn to them like a magnet, and you're going to have strong sexual chemistry with them. And some of you may meet someone that's a little older than you, and you could meet them in a situation, if it's not through a dating site or like some single scene, it could be that this person is a teacher, a mentor, an instructor, a leader of some sort. So hopefully that will make sense to some of you Geminis. Now look at the card you got to expand on that. You have completion. And when I did those eclipse readings for Vimeo, this card came up over and over and over again. And I shuffled many, many times for the sign. So something is completing here, and possibly, like I said, somebody in an unhealthy relationship is leaving it. So that could be the completion here. Gemini, you're really having an ending of an old cycle. And it's like a new day is dawning for you. And I feel that you've had to suffer through a lot of, I don't know, I'm going to call, some of them may have been catastrophic events in your life, or at least they were catastrophic to you. And now it's time, like, all the, you know, difficulties or like gears that don't mesh together that were grinding in your life, things are going to start to change now for you and go to be much more positive. And it's almost like a karmic reward cycle. It's like going through this difficult cycle, getting a karmic reward cycle. You have to learn how to read in between the lines a little better. Some of you are probably really good at that. And also learn to read the signs around you. And also pay attention to, you can pick up other people's emotions and feelings. Some people may say, oh, Gemini, are they empathic? You may think, no, but I actually feel like they really are. And when they tune into that and pay attention to their hunches and gut instincts or intuition or whatever you want to call it, that things will really start to turn around and pay attention, turn around and get better for you. But you have to pay attention, because if you don't focus outwardly, like what other people's reactions are, or what you can pick up on what's underlying or what they're feeling, you may miss some big opportunities. So make sure your head's screwed on straight, you have good focus, you trust your gut and intuition, and trust your own ability to be an empath and read other people, because this Six of Cups kind of relies on that in mid-January going into February. So I hope those messages made sense to you. Now on to the sign of Cancer. And the first of the two cards you have, Cancer, is 10 of Pentacles. So this could be receiving an inheritance. It could be money coming to you through family channels. This card could also symbolize you and a partner working together as a couple to bring in good money into your family. This card can sometimes mean winning money or getting a grant or a loan or winning money. I feel like some of you Cancers are really getting your money situation figured out, or having a real good understanding or a better understanding of your financial life and financial situation and financial picture in this month of January. Maybe you're already starting to do your taxes, some of you. You may be like, oh, I'm getting a jump on it, or your accountant or bookkeeper is talking to you about that, or financial advisors, or you could be doing it on your own, because I do feel you're like, you know, figuring out what you're spending, like budgeting. You might be budgeting your money. Where are bills going out? How much am I spending? What's coming in? What's my retirement? What do I have left? You know, or I get like that money focus Some of you Cancers are going to be having a new addition put onto your house, or you're expanding your home in some manner. Yeah, because I do get some of you may be pulling down walls or structures. Now, let me just say this. You could be tearing down and pulling down walls and structures of other types that are not made of brick and mortar or sheetrock or plaster. You may be pulling down walls of walls between people, or structures like you don't like the way something's running, so you're gonna you think it needs to operate and run in a different manner, so you're going to take it down. You're going to take it down and rebuild it or restructure it. But like I said, some of you are adding rooms or renovations to a home. That also comes up for some of you, as well as many of you looking over your finances, your financial past, your financial current, and your financial future. You may also be doing things outside to your property, or thinking about like digging a pool or digging an irrigation ditch, or having your yard may have to get dug up for new landscaping, or you could be changing plumbing and sewage, and or getting a septic tank or a new well being dug, and you could have your property getting dug up. So to expand on the Ten of Pentacles from the Osho Zen Tarot deck, you have the burden. So that's really interesting, because look, they talked about your house and things like that, and now you got the burden with it. So that's a pretty creepy looking card. That poor kid has to carry that lady that looks heavy. Or, well, he's not a kid, he's a guy, but she's a burden. She's riding on his shoulders. You know, some of you Cancers may have found that you're trying to help people, and they may be pushing you down, or holding you back, or not letting you help that much. You could be insulted by this. I don't know. Some of you might not care, but I do pick some of that energy up here for you. You may also be displeased if you have to hire anybody to do any kind of work. You may feel like they're doing shoddy work, or it's not living up to the expectations of what you had hoped. And you may feel like, you know, in some kind of situation, it could even be in work, Cancer, that you may feel like, unless I'm standing there overseeing it, the work isn't getting done properly. You may have a tendency to micromanage, maybe. I'm not saying you do. You might. But you may feel like, if I'm not there, it could be at your job, and maybe you feel like whomever you've hired to do work for you at your house, contracting, plumbing, whatever, irrigation, landscaping. It could be at work, employees that are under you, or people you've hired, or your business or company. You may feel like, unless you're there overseeing things or making sure that the job gets done right, you feel like it's going to be shoddy or not done up to your standards. And that's kind of a burden on you in a way, because you may feel like if you don't do it yourself, it doesn't get done right. And that could feel like a burden to you, some of you Cancers. You also may be looking at a new way to change your money and harness your money, or invest your money in a different way. And it could be because the old way was a burden, or changing it over to a new way could feel a little bit like a burden. So I hope those messages made sense to you. Now on to the sign of Leo. And the first of the two cards you have, Leo, is the Three of Rods, which is success. Waiting patiently for success to come in, letting go of something so success can come to you. It can also be a card that says you're at the brink or beginning of starting some new business or enterprise, like you're blazing a new trail, or getting ready to start something big. Reorganizing, figuring how you can get things done. Some of you may have a new relationship that comes in. Some other signs got that too. You're not the only one. Some of you may have a lot of opportunities that come up and offers that start to appear and show up on your plate. Don't be surprised if you don't have people that say, hey, Leo, you want to go into business with me? I got this thing I'm doing over here. Hey, Leo, I really like what you're doing. You want to collaborate? We'll work together on this or that project. Or, hey, Leo, we think you do a great job, and, so we want to promote you, or we want to, and that could be promote what you're doing. Like that could be your agent, become your agent, or promote your business in some way, marketing and promotions. But it could also be promotion, like we want to move you up in the job you're in. We like what you're doing. We're moving you up. All that energy is coming up around you, Leos, for this Three of Rods card for the mid-month of January, and probably even going forward out further in time than that. Especially anything you've been working on or crafting or writing or whatever you've been working on, where you've been paying a lot of attention to craftsmanship and detail. A lot of focus and detail-oriented work and being precise, and maybe being a little anal about it, or like you just making it totally perfect. That's all going to start paying off for you. So whatever area of your life you've been doing that. Have you been doing that with your family and relationships, or relationships with your kids? Have you been doing that? Is that what you're doing in some artistic thing you're creating, or a business that you've got going, or something else? You have to think about where you're spending all this time and energy in your past leading up to now, paying attention, focusing, putting fine craftsmanship and attention to detail, and being all detail oriented and all of that. That stuff, whatever you've been working on or doing, is now going to start to pay dividends, work out for you, be a boon for you. And to expand that, this is such a wacky looking card. You have politics. Look at the face on that. I don't know if you can see it. It might not focus that good. But so you got politics expanding on this Three of Rods card. You have seen the dark underbelly of people and seen their greed. I feel like you've been having bouts of recent experiences of this over the last 2 years, maybe even 2.5. There may be things that you got rid of or took out of your life, or took your name off of documents, or had things rewritten, or distanced yourself from people because you didn't want them to have any influence or control over you anymore. So, think about that. Where did you step away from people that were trying to coerce you, corral you, manipulate you, get you to do things that maybe you didn't feel were sitting right with you, but you felt obligated to do? Like wherever that area is, that's where you're distancing yourself from that. You've helped so many people, Leo, and it's like, I don't know that you've really gotten a lot of that help reciprocated back to you, but I do also pick up it's now time for people to pay the piper. So if you've lent them money, it's time for them to pay you back. If you gave them help and assistance, or got them a job or whatever, it's time for you to call in a favor from them. And that is kind of a form of politics. I scratch your back, you scratch mine, that kind of energy. That is exactly what you have coming up here. So you may hear this message and go, I don't know where the heck that would be in my life. But as you wheel through the rest of the month of January into February, you may find that a friend, you suddenly need a new car, and you lent somebody money in the past and they're a car dealer. Or you have a good friend that you want to get to see a particular concert, or get an interview at a company that's really hard to get in at, but your friend is a lawyer to the company, or your friend has connections to be able to get concert tickets, and now you're going to start calling in some favors. Some people owe you for some things. I'm not saying you're going to be hunting them down, but I feel like you're going to make it clear to some people, like, okay, it's now, I was good and generous to you. Now I need you to do X, Y, Z for me. So it's not like you're being mean or taking advantage. This is actually fair. So I hope those messages made sense to you. Now on to the sign of Virgo. And the first of the two cards you have, Virgo, from the Aquarian tarot deck, your card is the Empress. And this is a maternal figure that's watching you, guiding you, protecting you. They could be deceased or in the living. So this could be a mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, someone like a mother figure to you. You could be the Empress. You could be creating something. This can also mean creation of or like the birth of a business, birth of a project, plan, or an idea, and birth of a child too. Some of you are getting really intense about your diet, your exercise, wanting to eat better, starting to work out, getting concerned about your health or the health of like what's in foods, what are GMOs, what's getting sprayed in the sky that's fallen down on all of us. But a lot of it has to do with your concern about your own health, your own diet, your own exercise. You may start taking certain vitamins and supplements or certain remedies for things, because I see, or it could be homeopathic remedies, natural medicine. I see those kind of things around you. Some of you may have some kind of family gathering that could honor your mother or you if you're the mother. This could also be, I see another gathering because I see two things. And I feel like it's like Sunday night around the dinner table. Like, I don't know that it's at a holiday. It could be for somebody's birthday. It could be. But I see at a gathering, there could be some dispute about money or a big discussion about money, where I see a few people sitting around a table and money is being discussed back and forth across the table. Now, that could be in a court situation, litigation. It could be divorce settlements, lawsuit settlements. It could be a settlement table to buy a house. When you go to settlement to buy a house, you could be going back and forth about, well, I want the furniture, well, include it in the price, or, give me back the first quarter of the year of taxes, blah, blah, blah. It could be that kind of discussions about money, but it could be over wills, estates, anything like that. It comes up here. So some of you, there's a gathering that's a family gathering that looks like somebody's birthday party, I see for you. But for some of you, either at that party or in a separate occasion or meeting, there's discussions about money, and family is involved in it, I feel, for most of you. And there could even be some heated tempers or arguments, or maybe not people being really mad at each other, but people having definite opinions about it. Kicks up for some of you. Now, to expand with the Osho Zen Tarot deck, you got the card Inner Voice. This came up a couple of times in the eclipse readings I did for Vimeo for each of the signs when I use these cards. And you're getting this one here too with the Empress. Some of you are being led down a path where you have to put something together to put out there in the world. Maybe you're going to do like Bach flower remedies. Maybe you're going to do a website on astrology. Maybe you're going to start reading people for astrology or psychic readings, or you're putting together some kind of home improvement website with instructions on how to fix, leaky sinks or repair your floors. And you may start, it's like maybe like kind of like a Bob Vila situation, but you're not going out on TV. You could be doing it on the internet or starting your own business of something that you put videos out there, or you have website and videos connected, and it could have to do with whatever your passions are. If you're a composer, or you write music, or you give music lessons, or you are a private investigator, and I don't know, whatever it is, you've got some things here you want to develop, you want to get going, you want to take further. Don't be surprised, you're going to start having some precognitive dreams or instant knowing. You're going to start knowing or have premonitions when things are going to start are going to happen. Because I see some of you, like, You could wake up from a dream and are going to know that somebody's getting married or somebody's having a baby, or maybe you're going to even start seeing some things like natural disasters like earthquakes somewhere or a tidal wave happening somewhere. You may start having like, for lack of a better word, I'm going to call it psychic intuition, psychic insight, psychic like clairvoyancy. You're going to start being clairvoyant and seeing visions of things. And like I said, for some of you, this could be in your dreams. I do feel, and this may be something you've done or maybe something you didn't do in the past. It depends on which, all Virgos are different. But I get you thinking very strongly about at this time and going into February that family is the most important to you, more important than anything else. And not that you didn't think it before, but for some reason it's really kicking up. And if you're like, yeah, I don't really like my family. Well, your family could be the tribe you create with, really close friends that actually become closer to you than your own flesh and blood relatives. So just think on that, Virgo. I hope those messages made sense to you. Now on to the sign of Libra. And the first card you have here, Libra, is the Eight of Rods. And this is news coming to you swiftly. It could be swift and sudden change. It could also be long distance travel. You're going to start to see action. Things are going to start speeding up in your life. Don't be surprised if some of you move and you get rid of a lot of things quickly, like you have to sell everything or sell a lot of things and you want to get out of the place you're living and move really quickly. Could even be packing for travel, but I see some of you are packing to move. I feel like you also need to get more rest and sleep than what you've been getting, Libra, because I feel like your agitation level has been high, or your energy, you've been just running on, wearing your batteries down, and you need rest and rejuvenation. Some of you are going to receive some important news that you've been waiting to hear. For some of you, it could be some kind of license or permit that you've been waiting to come through, or if you were waiting for a work visa, or some kind of important papers or documentation that you needed, certification, licensing permits, anything like that. That looks like some of that's coming to you. Some of you Libras are going to hear gossip or important news or information through the grapevine. And you've got some important news coming to you. And this is going to take you by surprise for some of you. And some of you, this news is going to take, like, I see you taken back, like, whoa, wait a minute. Now I got to think how things I'm going to reorganize or restructure or replan, or have to replan something. You may be around some people that have a lot of hidden agendas, or there's a lot of agendas going on. And, maybe people keeping secrets from each other or hiding information around you could be coming up for some of you. But I get there's like kind of like bullying and dogmatic, pushy behavior. It's happening around you. And some people could be doing it to you, or you're witnessing it. You may not be getting the full brunt of it. It could be happening to multiple people, but I get that kind of energy going on around you, and some of it is directed to some of you Libras. Now, to expand on that card from the Osha Zen Tarot deck, Libra, I have transformation came up for you. So something's transforming here. Some of you feel like you've been held captive in some kind of situation and you're going to want to break free of it. And for some of you, this could be a love relationship you didn't like anymore. You want to get divorced or you want to separate. For some of you, it could be a job that you're in and you're like, man, I've had it with this job. I'm getting out of here. It's gone on too long. I can't take what's going on. Or so it could be some other kind of group, club, organization, some other kind of effort. Could be a business. You could be in a business partnership with somebody and you're like, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. It's time for me to move on and I have to get out of it. So some of you have that kind of situation going on in your life that's going to transform things for you. Some of you are going to be focused on having your own place or getting a new place. And some of you are also going to be focusing on building up your reputation or your positive Like maybe you're in sales, and you know your image and how you present yourself is important, and so you're trying to look better or feel better, or maybe you're taking classes on speeches, how to do public speaking or something, because maybe you're in a line of work that you're finding yourself like now you're having to give lectures or talks or speeches, or you're in sales and you have to make presentations and you have to sell to other people. And I'm not saying you don't know how to do it, but you may hear of somebody that's wise or has tricks of the trade, and that you could take a lecture from them or start watching some things online. It doesn't have to be that you go to a college or a continuing education program at a high school, or go to a special school or center. Some of you may, but some of you may be doing this online. There's many websites that offer different kinds of education and classes you can take. Definitely things are not going to be the same as they were for you. I feel like things are transforming for sure. And it could even be like how you live. Maybe you're going to live in a different place, or your living situation's changing, or people are moving out. Could be your kids going away to college, or they're getting married and they're moving out, or they're going to go live with a friend, or you could be getting separated. But some of you have living situations that are going to be changing in some manner for you. And if you don't see it happen in January or February, it really could happen over the next 4 to 5 months even for you Libras. So I hope those messages made sense to you. Now on to the sign of Scorpio. First card you have, Scorpio, is the 10 of Rods, and this is moving on to new and better horizons with 10 rods of burden on your shoulder. But those 10 rods of burden are actually going to help you as you move on to new and better horizons. You may feel like, I have to figure things out. Why am I always stuck with all these responsibilities? Maybe you have too many. Maybe at your job or at home, you have people just pile things up on you. You have too much to do or too many responsibilities. You may be a little concerned over somebody that's going to try to take over something that may be a lease, and you may want to try to stop it. And I don't know that it would be a car, because that seems weird, but it could be more like a lease of an apartment or a home. But for some reason, I feel like you're hearing like a negotiation of a lease or something, and you may want to stop it. Now, this could be because it's a place you want, or a place you're in, or a place you're involved with, or it could have to do with like your kids. Maybe there's a lease situation. They're leasing an apartment and they're going to college, or they're having issues with something to do with their lease and they have a roommate issue. I don't know, but for some of you, that kind of issue comes up here in January and even going into February. Some of you Scorpios are going to put something on the market and sell it. It could be an engagement ring that you got, and maybe you're a widow and you want to sell it now, or you have a broken engagement. Maybe you have a wedding dress and a wedding ring, and you're like, I want to get rid of this stuff. I'm going to sell it. But for some of you, it could be selling a car or a property or a house. And even if it's not yours, it could be an estate you're connected to. But some of you, I do see you selling something, and it does feel like, it feels more like a house to me than personal property. But I did see those images of an engagement ring, a wedding dress, or some kind, and maybe even some kind of like old thing that's antique that you don't use or really want anymore. You've got that energy swirling around you here with this 10 of Rods card. So the card you have to expand on that, Scorpio, is the card from the Osho Zen Tarot deck called Maturity. And this came up, I think, a few times in those eclipse effects, January eclipse effects psychic tarot readings that I did on Vimeo. You do feel comfortable with how some things worked out for you. But I do see you starting to focus on wanting to make sure that some of your goals and dreams get satisfied and met. So I see some of you Scorpios thinking about that. Some of you may be starting to get really particular about like who does certain things for you. Like maybe you're like, it has to be this hairdresser and no one else. Or I can only have this person work on my car, no one else. Or because being really particular about who handles certain things or how they take care of them also comes up for some of you. This could also have to do with accountants, attorneys, doctors, could be people like that as well. People that do your taxes, it's possible. It seems like it's unending of the things that you have to do. You do feel burdened to me at this time, but it's like a good kind of burden because you're really busy and things are going along. And some of you do feel to me like you are getting ready to travel. Like travel is coming up in your mind or traveling is on your mind. But I feel many of you are going to start making arrangements. If you haven't done it yet, you may go on a cruise or some kind of an excursion or a tour. Because I get that around you Scorpios, like you're like getting ready to travel, and that energy is coming up here with the Ten of Rods and the Maturity card. I see you becoming very vocal about things that need fixing. If you own your own business, you may be having to tell your employees like, yeah, this needs fixing. Or, if you hire anybody to do any work for you, could be even doing your hair. Maybe you don't like the way your hair came out. It could be your lawn. It could be that maybe somebody painted your home and you don't like the way they did any of those jobs or millions of other things. And I feel like you're going to become very vocal or outspoken and say you want them to fix it because something isn't right or up to your standards. So I hope those messages made sense to you, Scorpio. Now on to the sign of Sagittarius. So the first card you have, Sagittarius, is the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords is a card that symbolizes being trapped in an emotional prison or trapped in a circumstance or situation that you can't see how to get out of. It could also be you may feel trapped or may be trapped, and you really there could be some unknown factors, some things that you don't have the answers to that are making you feel like you're trapped. I feel that Sagittarius, it's like, to me, you're kind of having a hard time dealing with some emotional issues now in the month of January, maybe even going into February. You may be having trust issues, and you may also be feeling let down, or both. Maybe you trusted somebody and then they let you down. They could be two separate issues, but I get both of those emotions kicking up in you. You may have had an explosive argument with someone and you don't fully understand the ramifications of what is to come from that blow up. And that could be with a relative, a lover, a friend. It could, it's going to be different for all of you. Could be your boss, could be with a politician or a lawyer, or, I don't know. But you may feel like you spoke up or spoke out, and then there's going to be some ramifications that follow from this. Some of you are like a little bit feeling like I need to get it together, and also not being really certain or sure about what is going to transpire next in something that's going on in your life. It could have to do with, your, like I said before, a love partner. It could be your living situation. It could have to do with some family matter. It's going to be different for all of you. You really need to weed the garden. The guides are telling me it's like you really need to weed out people you don't like anymore, things you don't like anymore, things you don't use, stuff, people, contacts, business contacts. You got to start weeding the garden, they're telling me. Now, the card you have to expand on it from the Osha Zen Tarot deck, Sagittarius, is called Participation. So that's a pretty cool looking card. Participation comes up with 8 of Swords. Anything that you were like feeling like, I don't understand things, or I don't understand a situation, things are going to start to become clear to you, especially when you get into the mid to late point in February. You know, you do try really hard to make things happen. You do try really hard to make things move forward. But I feel you've gone through either a cycle or some bouts of this where nothing is happening. So it could be in your work, like maybe you've been trying to get new clients, new contacts, new sales, new whatever, or get more business or do whatever. And it hasn't, I feel like for some of you, it hasn't been picking up. It hasn't picked up, but that's yet, because it could change. These eclipses are going to change things that we have in January of 2019. These 2 eclipses, the one on the 5th or 6th, depending on where you live, or the other one on the 20th or 21st. Those are powerful, powerful eclipses in Capricorn and Leo. And so things are going to shift and change. You know, you are going to go through a period, Sagittarius, where you may feel a little depressed, but that you're going to be trying to motivate yourself. If you're having like depression and you're having trouble getting out of bed, you're going to have to motivate yourself. Or if you wanted to get on with an exercise routine and diet, and you feel like, okay, I'm doing pretty good, and then you sort of fall off the wagon, you're going to have to motivate yourself to push forward and keep going. In any area, the way this is going to make sense to you is it's whatever area when you stop and look at your life and you're like, man, I'm letting that just float and I'm not pushing it forward, or that's just lying stagnant, just sitting there stagnant, that's still, and it needs to get motivation and push forward, but you're the one that has to do it. It's something to do with you that you need to get yourself out of some kind of emotional funk or slump or whatever, or tiredness or depression, and you have to try to push some things forward now. So that is what's coming up for you, Sagittarius. So hopefully those messages made sense to you in this mid-month Psychic Tarot update. Now on to the sign of Capricorn. And the first of the 2 cards you have, Capricorn, is the Knight of Cups. And this could be a water sign, male or female. It could be a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, sun sign, rising sign, or moon sign. It could also be you, Capricorn, if you have a rising sign or a moon sign that is a water sign. You know, you're kind of thinking too hard about things and you're kind of making yourself crazy. So for some of you, this Knight of Cups does actually feel like you, even though you are a earth sign. And you may feel like, oh, I'm really trying to get on with my life, but some things could be making you feel like you're being held back. Some of you Capricorns have somebody in your life that is going to sweep you off your feet and propose to you, or you two will go off together and live together or get married. That's the case for some of you. Now, if you're already coupled or already married, then obviously that message doesn't apply to you. For some of you, this Knight of Cups is someone that you are going to be helping. You're going to be giving them a helping hand. You could be lending them money, or you could be giving them a promotion or a raise, or directing them in some way. Helping them out of a jam. It's going to be different for all of you, but this Knight of Cups, whenever the people cards come up, it always means multiple people, because it's obviously, there's so many Capricorns that are going to listen to this that it's not going to be the same for all of you who this Knight of Cups is. Some of you may have a sibling that wants to talk to you, commiserate with you, or dump their problems on you, or start spilling their guts to you. And I feel this, if it's a sibling, they may have issues with money. Now, for all of you, you don't all have siblings. So that message, again, is not going to apply to all of you Capricorns. For some of you, you may feel like this Knight of Cups is too much. Like they're doing too much partying, too much drinking, too much, crazy behavior. Again, I go back to, for some of you, this is a sibling to you. But not all of you. For some of you, this is somebody that you have a love connection with. Now listen to the next card you have here. You have to expand on that, Capricorn. You have the Lovers card. So there's empathy and chemistry. Sometimes there's love, but not always. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. It could just be sex, chemistry, passion. You have to see. It's expanding the Knight of Cups. Some of you have a true blue, full-fledged love romance that's either happening in your life right now or is getting ready to happen. And I feel like you're seeing each other as you really are. There's no need to put on any fronts or make any pretenses. So if they're new to you, they're going to get to know you really well and fairly quickly. If you already know them, then they know you extremely well, and it's a good relationship because you don't have to, put on airs or, put on a front or act phony or, act in any particular way. You can be who you truly are. Those of you that are already coupled, there is some kind of test to your love coming up, but it doesn't feel like a bad test, like somebody's doing something bad and they need to prove themselves to you. It's different. It's just like things that are going to be coming up or happening in your life or around you, or your partner, if you're coupled, you're going to get your chance to prove yourself to them, or they will be proving themselves to you, like how valuable they are to you, how good they are to you, how they think about you, or how they can show you that they're there for you, supportive of you, care for you. And if this is not a love partner, this could be a very dear friend. It could be, a family member that wants to, that you're very connected to, that's there for you during tough times or not. So it's going to be different for all of you about this Knight of Cups and Lovers card, because for some of you, it's not actually a lover. So you need to listen. I feel like Capricorns had a lot of different possibilities here with this that the guides talked about. So you might want to listen to this again. So I hope those messages made sense to you. Now on to the sign of Aquarius. And the first card you have, Aquarius, is the Two of Cups. And this is two people that are intertwined with each other, that are fate, destined, meant to be, preordained. Could be twin flames, could be soulmates. Could be, a soul connection you have with someone. Some of you are going to start to see someone new or see someone, and there's a lot of charm about them or charm about the relationship, and respectability also comes up. If you're single, you could sow your wild oats through someone that you're going to meet. So you may have like this, you're not the first sign to get this. Even in the January eclipse readings I did, a lot of people, it came up over the next 6 months to even further out that a new partner was going to come in. You're getting it here. Some of you are going to have a trusted friend or fellowship or bond that is going to form with someone. And if it's not romantic love, it's another kind of relationship. And I feel that the person, if they're new to you, you're going to find that they are very articulate, kind, well-spoken, well thought of, has some kind of, people think highly of them. They may carry their own weight in a situation, in the sense that they may own their own business. They could be an entrepreneur, or they have a partnership in business, and in that regard, they would still carry their own weight. In some ways, this could be applying to you if you even get into a business partnership with someone. And little things are becoming evident to you, what you need to make you happy, what's going to make you feel at peace, especially in love relationships. Even if you're connected to somebody now that you're married or engaged or in a serious relationship with someone, what is important to you to make you feel peace and contentment, Aquarius, is really on your mind, becoming evident to you, what you need to feel, what you need to see. Now, to expand on it, you got a wacky card, Aquarius. You got schizophrenia. Look at that guy. Like, doesn't that look like a guy ready to fall on top of UFOs? I don't know. That's how it strikes me. Some of you Aquarians in the area of love and love relationships are on a bit of an emotional seesaw, going back and forth, like feeling this way, then you feel that way. You want this to happen, then you want that to happen. So relationships, whether they be new or existing, you may be going through this, like, even if you're not with anyone yet, you could be going, well, I think I want I want a relationship. No, I don't want a relationship. I want a partner like this. No, that's not really, I'd rather that they be like that. Like, you have some, wishy-washy, or this, it's funny, schizophrenia is a number 2 card, because 2 of Pentacles is weighing your options or being wishy-washy. And I'm getting that feeling through this card with the 2 of Cups. And so you got 2 of Cups with the number 2 card of schizophrenia. Some of you are going to feel like you might be challenged by people who don't see things from your perspective or have the same vision you do about how certain things should roll, especially in love relationships, but even in other matters, work, business, friendships, whatever. You may feel a little stressed or aggravated or out of sorts if people don't share your vision or see things from the same angle and perspective you do. And I do feel, Aquarius, you're coming up on a time period in January, mid-January, going through to the end of February, maybe even into March, where you have to make decisions and choices. And I feel this is actually a difficult time for you to make those decisions and choices. In some ways, maybe some of you, it's crystal clear, but you just are hesitant to do it. Maybe some of you just feel forced to it, but you're not really ready to yet. So those are the energies you have, Aquarius, that came up in these 2 cards. I hope those messages were of help to you. Now on to the sign of Pisces. And the first card you have, Pisces, is the Queen of Pentacles. And this would be an earth sign female, either being a Taurus, a Capricorn, or a Virgo. That could be their sun sign, rising sign, or moon sign. This could also be you, Pisces, if you have an earth sign as your rising sign or moon sign. I feel like this is somebody you're dealing with a lot in these next couple of months. And I feel for many of you, they may be helping you out or helping you do something. They may be having a hard time or a difficult time coping or managing something. This could be your mother. And it could be a male figure. It is coming up as a queen, but men can show up as queens. But I get whoever this is, for some of you, you may feel like they're going through depression or they're not feeling well, this Queen of Pentacles, or they're going through some kind of trauma. Maybe they got injured or they're in rehab, either physical rehab or for drugs or alcohol addiction rehab. But I feel like you're concerned about them, you're worried about them, and you're kind of there to help them, or you will be there to help them. Now, when I always say this, I'm going to say it again, when the people cards come up, it can mean multiple people, because obviously this isn't going to fit into all of your lives, so I have to keep listening to my guides to hear why else this Queen of Pentacles would be here for Pisces. Some of you, you're getting interested in different things, different subjects, different interests. Things are changing. If you have a friend that is a Queen of Pentacles, you could have a friendship or some kind of working or business relationship with them, and it could blossom and bloom and flower into something else. So a friendship could go into a love relationship here. For some of you Pisces, for some of you, that is not the case with this Queen of Pentacles, and they're coming up more as somebody that's going through a struggle or a difficult time, and you're going to assist them or help them, or and I feel like they need it too. And you may feel like you're giving this Queen of Pentacles instruction. They may be suddenly working for you. They may be an employee, or they could be a mentor or a teacher or professor or instructor to you. So that's one of those messages that sometimes I get one that can go either way. You had that one go either way. Now, your card to expand on this Queen of Pentacles from the Osha Zen Tarot deck, you got the exact same one that Aquarius got. And I shuffled those cards many times and put them through incense, smoke, and everything to clear it out. But you got the same card, schizophrenia. For some of you, you may feel challenged by the Queen of Pentacles or challenged by the circumstances and situations around them or your affiliation with them. You may find that challenging. In some ways, Pisces, there are some of you may feel like you have too much on your plate. You may feel a little overburdened right now, and maybe even coming into a point where you're like, I can't even think straight. I got too much to do. If any of you are in a relationship with this Queen of Pentacles, you're going to feel like you can't hang in there or hang on anymore, and you're going to close the door on the love relationship. But that doesn't apply to all of you. Or you could be closing the door on whatever the relationship is, even if it's not love, of like romantic love. If it's, you know, with a family member that's you can't deal with right now, or a friend that's too much, or so some of you may feel like you can't get any headway in that situation and you want to close the door on it. For some of you, you may feel like nobody makes you madder than the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles may be somebody that has tirades, or you have to deal with them in a way that you just feel like they're complicated or difficult to deal with. Some of you, a new relationship or a new bond will be forming, and you will be straightening things out with the Queen of Pentacles. So you had another dichotomy kind of message there, because in some regards, I feel you're not going to deal with them anymore. Like they're too much of a drain. They got too much on their plate. They got too many problems, and it's like almost too much for you because you have too much on your plate. So you're going to close it away and walk away from it. But on the other hand, I get kind of the opposite. You could have a rebirth, or things could turn around and something could be healed here and things could continue to move forward. But, you know, just know, for some of you, this Queen of Pentacles is not a love partner. It could be a parent, a mother. For many of you, I do feel it's a mother figure, for many. For others, I do feel it could be a boss or a teacher. But for others, it could be someone you're connected to in a romantic relationship, but only you can decide that, Pisces. So how these messages made sense to you. So I hope these messages made sense to you, and I hope they were of some help. I want to thank you so much for watching, sharing, and liking my videos. Thank you for subscribing and for Google Plusing. I do truly appreciate that. And please remember to subscribe. That way you'll get notified when I upload my videos here to YouTube. Also, if you're interested in getting the special videos I recorded for how the 2 eclipses in January 2019 are going to be affecting your specific sign of the zodiac, and these videos are called January 2019 Eclipse Effects, 2 deck psychic tarot readings for each sign of the zodiac, You can access those videos for download and purchase by clicking on the link below this video in the Show More section, and it will take you to those Vimeo videos on demand page for those videos. They're also available by going to my website, www.theluckymermaid.com. Click on the videos tab on my menu, and there you will see all the video series I record, and you look for the heading of the video you're interested in. You just click on your sign under that, and it will take you to that Vimeo on Vimeo. Also, I have 2 other videos that are pretty big well, one is definitely big. Those videos, by the way, let me just say this about those eclipse videos. They were quite powerful. Sometimes I do videos and they strike me like, wow. And other times I'm like, yeah, that was good. But this time I really felt that these were very important messages that were pretty detailed. There was 9 cards in that video. 3 of them were from the Aquarian Tarot deck, and then 6 cards from the Osha Zen Tarot deck to expand on the 3 Aquarian cards, and I thought they were really interesting. So I just am giving them my little endorsement here. But also I did, for the entire year, I did 10 cards in a Celtic Cross Tarot spread for each sign of the zodiac, which were pretty long. They were like over 40 minutes. The eclipse videos are around 25 minutes long. The 10-card Celtic Cross Tarot spreads are around 40 minutes long, about that. And they're available by clicking on the other link below this video, and also on my website videos page. And the good old, can't forget, the psychic crystal readings for each sign of the zodiac for the month of January 2019. If you're interested in those, that link is also below this video, and that is on my website as well. So I hope you have an absolutely breathtakingly fun and joyous mid-month of January 2019. And know that I wish you many blessings and peace.